As students continue to explore with addition in first and second grade, they start to see some increasing ranges of numbers that they're working with. In first grade, students will work with numbers up to sums of 100, and in second grade, students start working with addition that have sums up to 1,000. And with that increased range comes the necessity for increased sophistication in the strategies and in the reasoning and in the models that students are using in order to think and build that reasoning around addition within those ranges. And one of those strategies that students can use is the friendly number over strategy. This strategy works for both addition and subtraction. In this video, we're just going to talk about some addition examples. And so you'll see here I've got a couple examples that are in line with first grade benchmarks, so the sums within 100, and then also a couple examples that are in line with the second grade benchmark, sums within 1,000. For both, it's the same strategy. It works the same. That's one of the reasons this strategy and model for this strategy works, is because it does translate as the ranges of numbers and the sums that we're working with get larger. So let's jump right into it. So 38 plus 44. In order to visualize this strategy, I'm going to use an open number line. The open number line is not the strategy. It's just the way that we're showing the strategy. The strategy is this idea of finding a friendly number over. So in this case, 38 plus 44. In order to do 38 plus 44, the first thing I'm going to do with this strategy is, instead of 38 plus 44, I'm going to think 44 plus 38. And the reason that I'm going to do that is I want to start with 44 and I want to add 38 to 44. I want to manipulate and play with 38 just a little bit. And here's why. Instead of adding 38, I'm going to add 40. So we were supposed to add 38, but I'm going to add 40 instead, because 40 is a more friendly number. That's why we call it the friendly number over strategy. 40 is a more friendly number than 38. It's a little bit easier to add to 44 than adding 38 to 44 would be. 44 plus 40 is just going to give us 84. Now, here's where the over part of the strategy name comes in. I chose 40 because it's a friendly number, but I also recognize that it's just a little bit over 38. I added a little bit too much. So I have to ask myself now, how much too much did I add? Well, I added too much. I was supposed to add 38. I added 40. So I need to sort of undo that. I added 40. I added too much. So I'm going to back up 2. And now I just think, what's 2 to the left, or 2 less than 84? And that's 82. So 38 plus 44 is 82. So we'll do that again. Another first grade example, 56 plus 19. So this time, the first thing that I want to think with this friendly number over strategy, I see that one of these numbers is really close to a multiple of 10. That would be a lot easier to add. 19 is really close to 20. So instead of adding 56 plus 19, I want to think 56 plus 20. So I'll start with 56. I'll make my jump of 20. 56 plus 20 is 76. And then I just think, well, how much too much did I add? I was supposed to add 19. I added 20. That's 1 too much. So I'm going to back up 1. 1 to the left of 76 is 75. So 56 plus 19 is 75. Now, before going on to the second grade examples, I want to talk a little bit about why using this model to represent the strategy. Certainly, we could show this strategy in other ways. We could just write out a series of equations. We could draw something a little bit more pictorial. But I chose to go with the open number line for various reasons. The number line is a tool that is listed specifically in the benchmarks as early as kindergarten. So it's a tool that students should be getting exposure to and should be getting practice with. But also using the open number line. First, the open number line is a relatively efficient tool because we're not writing in all of the numbers. It's kind of open. I'm just using it to see that sort of left, right, more, less, addition, subtraction relationship between the numbers. But it also helps me to see as I'm sort of readjusting at the end, I'm manipulating and changing these numbers to make the arithmetic a little easier to do mentally. Adding 40 is easier than adding 38. Adding 20 is easier than adding 19. It helps me visually see in that last step when I need to readjust, when I need to make up for the fact that I manipulated the numbers, how I need to manipulate them. Do I need to take 2 away, or do I need to add 2? So it helps me to see exactly what I need to do in that last step. The number line gives a quick visual way to comprehend what's going on in the strategy. All right, so moving to the second grade examples, the strategy works the same way. One of the reasons I love this strategy and I love this model is going from numbers within 100 to within 1,000. In third grade, when they start working with numbers within 10,000, the strategy works just as well. So 324 plus 298. I'm first going to think about which number do I want to change? Which number would be easier if I made a small change in order to add to the other? And this 298 is really close to 300. So I'm going to think, instead of 324 plus 298, I'm going to think of 324 plus 300, because that's just 624. All I'm doing is adding the 300 to the 300 I already have. There's no regrouping, not a lot changes there. So easier, more friendly to do that mentally. But then we ask, how much too much did we add? We know we added more. We went over where we were supposed to. I added 2 too much. So I'm going to back up to 624 minus 2, or just on the number line, it's easy to see 2 to the left of 624 is 622. So this is 622. For the last one, 188 plus 305. The first thing I'm going to think here again is, which number do I want to manipulate to make this a little easier in my head? And with this one, I have a few options that sort of jump out at me at first. This is really close to 190. It's also really close to 200. So I could change it to either 190 or I could change it to 200. Seeing that I don't have a 10 in here, I'm not really worried about having that 90. It's going to be pretty easy to add 190 to 305, I think. So I'm going to change that to 190. So I'll start this time with 305, and I'm going to add 190 to the 305, which is just 495. So the 300 and 100 is 400, 90, and I had no 10s there, so just 90. And then I had made it 190, so no 1s here. So the 5 and the 0 is 5. So 495, but I'm just now thinking, how much too much did I add? I added 2 too much, so I go back to 493. So 188 plus 305 is 493. And that is the friendly number over strategy for addition in both first grade and second grade.